Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's episode, Boomer and I are out in a very familiar location, except this time we did not bring a hot tent. So as you guys can see, we've come with a lightweight tent, winter sleeping pad, winter sleeping bag, and we're positioned right on the edge of a frozen lake out in the middle of nowheres. Awesome vibe out here. The last time I camped here, we had the hot tent. It was moody, it was foggy and misty, and I'm hoping today ends up the same, if not tomorrow morning. The temperatures are cold, about -1, -2 this afternoon. In the evening, it's supposed to go down to about -7 Celsius, but then in the morning, it's supposed to warm back up, which is the making for a lot of early morning fog. And I'm really hoping for that out here on this lake. So I have a lot to get done. I want to do a campfire later on, just off to the side. And I want to have a hot drink right now. It's not terribly cold out right now, so I'm going to keep my jacket off so I don't break out in a sweat. Just kind of bomb around here in the sweater. Boomer's having fun going around here, chasing after the squirrels and birds and chewing on sticks. So I think this is a great opportunity. Make up a hot drink, kick back and relax for a moment before we start getting to work. All right, guys, just taking a little bit of a break from collecting wood and chopping it. The wood primarily is frozen on the inside, so the axe is plenty sharp, but you would not be able to guess that watching it try and chop through some of that wood. As soon as it hits it, it's frozen, it just bounces right off. So I had to resort to the saw, which is taking a little bit more time sawing all the pieces of wood. I'm now to the point where I can start splitting them, cleaning out the fire pit area, get a little fire layer ready, and then I think by that point it's going to be time to cook supper. It is getting later in the day and I can feel the temperature starting to drop, so that campfire is definitely going to be enjoyable. Boomer's having fun out on the lake, kind of pushing his luck. He hit a little bit of a slushy spot and I think it scared him. He took off the lake. The water, as far as he's going out, is only about 12 inches deep, so I am keeping a very close eye on him, and he had a little bit of a scare there. So I think he's going to be jumping inside of the tent in and out as he is getting a little cold, but with that campfire later on, help dry him out and warm him up. So I'm going to get chopping some wood and making some kindling and carry on with the day. All right, guys, supper is ready. Just gonna give Boomer a little bit of hot rice. He is a little damp and a little cold, and he's holding out for that fire. And he keeps tiptoeing out of the tent, so I had him wrapped up in the sleeping bag, but he just doesn't want anything to do with that. He wants to be out here exploring, doing stuff. So I'm gonna get him some food. He's been snacking away inside of the tent too, so I'm not even sure if he's gonna eat supper yet, but we'll let him do what he wants to do. So what I made for myself is spinach, onion, orange pepper, mushroom, rice. I put a pack of onion soup mix in there for the flavoring, and basically I got a whole pot of hot soup that I'm going to relax and enjoy. And then after that, going to get all cleaned up and light that campfire because my feet are totally soaked right now. The temperature, it is all over the place. This is what happens when you camp close to the ocean. You get cold fronts and then warm fronts. It is all over the place. I basically stopped paying attention to how cold or how warm it is. But my feet are totally soaked. They're squishy. I'm walking around like just squish, 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 squish. So it's very uncomfortable, but I know once I get the campfire going, I'll be able to take my shoes off and basically put my bare feet up against the fire, get warm and dry, and then crawl inside of the tent and get even warmer and drier. So I'm going to enjoy some supper right now with this last little bit of daylight, and then we're going to spark that campfire up. All right, guys, supper is all done and it's getting closer to nightfall, but not quite here yet. It is actually starting to rain right now. So if I'm gonna have a fire, I think now's the time to get it lit just in case it opens up and it pours. As my feet, pants, and socks and shoes are totally soaked, I need that fire to dry out because who knows what's gonna happen later on with the temperature or the weather. So what I'm gonna do is close off one door of the tent, shove my backpack in the vestibule, and get over there and light that fire as quickly as possible because rain and cold temperatures is not going to mix overnight. So let's take care of some priorities. All right, I don't know if sitting outside is going to be the greatest idea to enjoy that fire. It's not a massive downpour yet, but it is steady, and it's one of those winter rains that just comes down steady and you get soaked in because it's not pouring with rain. So you don't feel that bad of sitting out here because it's just a little bit of a drizzle or a steady rain, but everything's getting soaked. So sitting out here when it's not that bad is going to be very bad later on when the temperature drops and all my clothing is soaked and I don't have a hot tent. So I'm not gonna let that sneak up on me. I've been in that situation many times before and I know the signs of it. So I'm gonna play it safe and get the door shut somewhat. Boomer's still in and out, so the bonus with this tent is I can unzip from the top and crawl in, keeping the bottom zipped shut. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about in just a moment, but I'm going to try and hold out as much as I can because that fire's slowly building. The wood is wet. It's going to take probably 10-15 minutes for it to really start to burn. And this rain, looking out on the lake, is still not letting up. All the puddles out there are just dancing with raindrops. So I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, stay on task, but getting everything buttoned up, keeping everything nice and dry. That way I'll have a nice, good night and wake up nice and dry. All right, guys, making our way inside of the tent just before nightfall. I was really hoping to have a nice evening out there enjoying a campfire on the edge of the lake. But as you guys can see, Boomer's soaked. He is getting very cold. So I'm gonna get him bound up in the sleeping bag here in a moment. And I think it's just gonna be lounging inside of the tent. You guys can probably hear the crackling fire, possibly some of the tapping rain. It is definitely raining out, and I'm glad I came in when I did because I am actually shivering myself and damp. So always a good thing to play it safe, go with your gut instinct, and I knew that rain was not going to let up and it was going to come down pretty steady. So looking at the tent rain fly in the vestibule, it is definitely soaked outside. See the raindrops hitting it, it's not going to let up. So we're going to get in here and get changed, get nice and dry, and probably call it a day for today for the camera. I do have a movie saved on my phone and a couple snacks in here as well. I brought my downfill pants and another shirt that I'm going to put on. I am definitely putting on dry socks, and I have to sleep with my shoes in my sleeping bag tonight, which is never a pleasure, just in case they freeze overnight. So I'm going to get changed and start relaxing and enjoying some movie night, get Boomer nice and warm here, and we will catch up with you guys in the morning for coffee. See you in the morning, guys. Good morning, everybody. It is a freezing cold and sunny morning out here on the ice today. So it got cold last night. Boomer has no idea what to think right now. We're out on the frozen lake, and this is some beautiful ice. All that rain last night and yesterday evening turned into a beautiful top coat on this lake. It is super smooth. Despite it looking rough, there's a thin layer of ice on top that's just butter smooth. Amazing out here. So whenever you're on the ice, it kind of reminds me of Star Wars, because every now and then the ice will crack and shift, and it sounds like droids on Star Wars, like pew, pew, like off in the distance, and you can hear it rumble and feel it underneath of you when they're close. I've camped out on the ice with tents and sleeping bags with no tents many times. I'm well aware of the dangers out here. There are all kinds of black holes in the area. I want to stay away from those because that's the thinnest ice, and that's where it's shifted and the water's actually splushed up overnight or the next day or earlier on, whenever. It's basically pockets in the ice. Whenever it shifts, the water squirts up. So I'm gonna stay away from that. It is negative 10 degrees Celsius right now. It got cold, like that came out of nowhere. It got so cold so fast that the ice drops, or the raindrops on the tent, froze into ice drops. They didn't even have a chance to blow off of the tent in the wind. It got crazy windy last night. So it just instantly froze to the tent, which was pretty cool. Boomer is loving this ice though. I've been sliding him across. Come on. And he loves it. He's got all these little scratch marks in the ice from little nails trying to get traction. So I've already come out here. I've had coffee. We've done a little bit of a walk around. My butt is getting cold. I'm just in a thin layer of Under Armour base layer pants, and then I've got my Nature Hike down pants on top. And yes, I am in my slippers. Canadian, out here having coffee on a frozen lake in my slippers. So beautiful sunrise. It's just about done with. So I think we're gonna make our way back to the tent and maybe do a little bit of a snack. Boomer's rearing to go, rearing to go. He loves it. So we're gonna have a little bit of a snack, maybe a little bit of an oatmeal breakfast, and start the pack-up process. Okay, let's go. Here we go. I'm at work right now. My office rocks. All right, guys, we've got everything packed up inside of the backpack, and I am almost breaking out in a sweat. I'm gonna wear my down pants out of here because they're warm and comfortable. I'm gonna hold off on the jacket for just a few moments until I start cooling off a little bit, but I gotta say, this adventure was absolutely incredible. Despite the rain ruining the campfire, waking up to that frozen lake and a beautiful sunrise totally made up for it. So I'm gonna get out of here, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Questions and comments, drop them down below. And until next time, peace out, and I'll see you in the next adventure.